Hello and welcome to the Roselle and Friends talk show and our series on powerful Caribbean women who've made their indelible mark in a variety of areas in today's world and are still trailblazing with examples for us to follow. Today's powerful Caribbean woman is Dr. Camille Wardrop Alleyne. Yes, just when you thought that the areas of space, science and engineering were the purview of men or confirmed male-dominated occupation, lurking amongst some of the most brilliant minds on the planet is this gemstone of brilliance in the form of an inspiring, capable and qualified Caribbean woman. So she's Trinidadian-born Dr. Camille Wardrop Alleyne, an associate program scientist for the International Space Station program at NASA, the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Dr. Alleyne is an American aerospace engineer, space scientist, internationally acclaimed speaker, writer, educational leader, and science ambassador. In the highly technical field of science and engineering, where women are in the minority, she is one of the most recognized women in aerospace engineering and one of the few women of color to serve in a senior technical management position at NASA. Dr. Alleyne has achieved against all the odds, being the only Black woman of Caribbean descent in a senior management position at NASA, and she's the recipient of several recognition awards, not only from NASA, but she has also received commendations from the US Department of Defense for her work on its ballistic missile defense system. Dr. Alleyne was born in Port of Spain, Trinidad, on the 12th of October, 1966. She attended Mucurapo Girls Roman Catholic School in Trinidad and St. Francis Girls College, also in Trinidad. She migrated to the United States at the age of 17 with a passion for space and pursued a career designing and developing space and rocket systems. Today, she's one of the most recognized women in aerospace engineering and one of the few women to serve in such leadership positions at NASA. Fully qualified, she gained a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering at Howard University, a Master of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering at Florida A&M University. Additionally, she gained another master's degree, an MSc in Aerospace Engineering at the University of Maryland. Dr. Alleyne achieved the Doctor of Education degree in Educational Leadership, majoring in girls and women in science, specifically the design of school environments that motivate girls to pursue STEM careers at the University of Houston. Dr. Camille's achievement exemplify the epitome of hard work, resulting in a tower of successful outcomes. In fact, her capabilities and achievement read like something out of a scientific encyclopedia because of the sheer volume of what she has accomplished. Undoubtedly, there is something uniquely captivating about this beautiful woman who is responsible for developing and managing the communication strategy for ISS research and technology that conveys the past, present, and future research conducted on board the space station. Dr. Alleyne's early childhood was very instrumental in helping her to become the person she is today. Blessed with parents who encouraged her to develop her curiosity in space and the natural world around her, Dr. Alleyne says she also had a mechanical and analytical mind, which saw her building and fixing things around the house. With parents who place a high value on education, She excelled in education, but also feels she had an innate affinity with science, complemented by maths, which she also excelled in. Dr. Alleyne, like most young children growing up in the Caribbean, remembers watching TV programs such as Star Trek and The Jetsons. And though far-fetched at the time, they were enjoyable to her. Additionally, she attributes her interest in space to the good fortune of having a landscape such as Trinidad, where gazing up at the stars at night was an easy and regular pastime. It whetted her appetite to find out more about what was out there. Dr. Alleyne also attributes her success to her first role model, her mother, who, along with her dad, raised 3 daughters and instilled in them the need to be strong, independent, and self-sufficient. Consequently, she states that her other role models are Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Dr. Martin Luther King, those who gave their lives in service to humanity. Dr. Alleyne's desire to become an astronaut began whilst an undergraduate in college in 1986, in the wake of the Space Shuttle Challenger accident. Now, relatively new to the US, having just migrated from the Caribbean, Dr. Alleyne had commenced her studies in aeronautical engineering at college. But the Space Shuttle Challenger tragedy opened her eyes, and it became the motivation for switching her major to focus on space and aerospace. Now, 6 years later, having completed her studies, she proudly entered Kennedy Space Center, the start of an 18-year career. Whilst being there, she was fortunate in 2003-2004 to be among a selection of 100 space scientists from a pool of 4,000 plus applicants to be in NASA's Aeronaut Selection Program. From the 100 semi-finalists, 12 applicants went through to be a US astronaut. And though Dr. Alleyne did not make the final selection, it was a process that she claims was one of the greatest accomplishments in her life. As an aerospace engineer, Dr. Alleyne's role is to design, develop, integrate, test rockets, spacecraft vehicles, and their systems. In her role as an assistant program scientist in the International Space Program, she conducts biological, physical, scientific, and human researches, to name just a few. She builds relationships with internal and external agency partners and stakeholders that effectively promote the value of the space station and its benefit to future space exploration, to life here on Earth. She leads the integration of all international education programs across the ISS partners, US, Japan, Russia, Europe, and Canada, and influences the extension of space education projects to more countries and students globally. Dr. Camille represents the ISS program and NASA at scientific and public events. She communicates the benefits of the science doing general audience in the US and across the globe. She also leads an international education task group, which identifies ISS educational activities that can inspire students and attract them to the field of science, technology, engineering, and maths, popularly called STEM. She's responsible for communicating the scientific and technological accomplishments of the ISS and the benefits to life on Earth to the top leadership at NASA. the US Congress, the general public, and scientific research and educational communities. An awesome brief. But Dr. Alleyne's awesome achievements cannot be glossed over, certainly should not be minimized for convenience of the limited time we have on this program. What is clearly evident is the fact that this powerful Caribbean woman is celebrated to the highest degree. To do justice to the cause of presenting her lifetime contribution to the areas of aerospace and space exploration, we have presented her in this episode of the Roselle and Friends talk show in order to showcase her involvement in international development through science and technology and global science, as well as space education. Dr. Alleyne has held several key positions at NASA, and in particular, the following: Orion Crew Model Systems Engineering, Integration and Test Manager. At the NASA Johnson Space Center, she managed the overall Orion Crew Model Systems engineering efforts. She's lead systems engineer for Constellation Systems at NASA headquarters. There, she managed the exploration missile architecture requirements and development of the human rated plan for Constellation Division. And that's not all. She co-developed the Constellation needs, goals, objectives, and was lead developer of the exploration architecture requirements. Dr. Alleyne served as at the HQ representative to Constellation Program Office Requirements teams at the Missile Defense Agency. Dr. Alleyne also led the subject matter experts SME team in the analysis of kinetic energy weapons for ballistic missiles defense system. An awesome brief. She also led analysis of various ballistic missile defense elements weapons. She led the integration of efforts of the Aegis BMD element to the ground-based missile defense elements for the BMDS international defense operations. Now that might sound really complicated, but with a qualification like this, it is important to really assert the breadth and length that she's gone and the positions she's held that makes her a powerful Caribbean woman that we have in this program. She has been a naval ballistic missile systems and test engineer, and that's for the Department of the Navy. Now, this most inspiring Caribbean woman led the development of the Aegis Weapon Systems computer program for the Sea Base Kinetic Energy Boost Phase Ballistic Missile Defense Program. She led the planning and execution of the US Navy's historic event that marked the first time an Aegis ship or any mobile platform tracked a boosting intercontinental ballistic missile into outer space. And the list goes on. She planned, coordinated, and led conduct and execution of Aegis combat system ship qualification trials. Dr. Alleyne also proposed, planned, coordinated the first theater ballistic missile tracking exercise conducted during CWSQTs. She led the CWSQT-21 study that identified requirements and new test strategies and capabilities for future weapon system computer program configurations. Dr. Alleyne was responsible for leading the testing and checkout of the Space Lab modules and pallet payload fluid systems. She led integration and testing of the environmental control systems. She served as a member of launch operations team monitoring payload flight systems during space shuttle launches. Now, why have I given you this list? why, have gone through the length and breadth of it. We talked about being powerful, but Dr. Alleyne has shown that engineering as a male-dominated career is a fulfilling one once you are passionate about it. Dr. Alleyne has a deep commitment to being of service and making a difference in the lives of young people all across the world, and as a result has been and continues to be in a unique position to create immense change through her expertise in STEM, especially related to girls. Dr. Alleyne has found time to empower and inspire the younger generations over the past few years by creating a foundation called the Brightest Stars Foundation. It's a national non-profit organization that's dedicated to educating, empowering, and inspiring young women around the world to be future leaders through the study of science, math, and technology. The organization promotes the role of science and technology education in international development and cooperation. Now, her foundation continues to work towards the establishment of science academies for girls in developing nations around the world. Isn't that awesome? In 2011, the National Institute for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology in Trinidad named her as one of the Caribbean's icons in science and technology. So she spent her 26-year career advancing the areas of aerospace and space technology development, including space vehicle design and testing the space research. In the last few years, she has emerged as an expert in the areas of space, science and technology application for sustainable global development. Now, Dr. Alleyne currently serves as the Deputy Manager for Commercial LEO Development at NASA Johnson Space Center, a role in which she serves as the architect of building space economies and enabling commercialization of low Earth orbit. She's a private pilot and is also known as an icon in the Caribbean. She resides in Houston, Texas, and has a daughter, Kiara, a graduate at Columbia University. And in her own words, that demonstrate her commitment to excellence and service, Dr. Alleyne says, "My intention is always to leave people empowered, enabled, and present to do their own greatness and to use my life as an inspiration for others." Well, we believe all of her achievements and her humanity makes her a powerful Caribbean woman. So, let's see who is next in our series of powerful Caribbean women next week. Thank you for listening.
Phoenix Study Guides are a series of brilliant English books aimed at both children and adults. All books in this series are freestanding and focus on specific areas of learning, or you can work through to build excellent foundation skills for success in English. The Spelling Book. The book provides a simple, step-by-step method that helps students learn to read and spell through appealing activities, which provide very clear information to help you learn English spelling, reading, and writing rules via a graded approach. Vocabulary Book. This refreshingly, lively, easy approach vocabulary skills for students and teachers Volume 1 comes packed with 60 units of fun activities to boost your vocabulary, reinforced by 60 gap-filling tests with answers. The Grammar Book is a one-stop grammar guide loaded with helpful tips, worksheets and grammatical rules with 145 tests for students of all ages. Essential for SATs, ideal for all key stages 1 to 4. Clear, concise teaching methods and easy to follow techniques. An excellent resource for mastering subject terminology in GCSE English. Get your copy today. Or email eaglepublications58@gmail.com. Also available on Amazon and all good booksellers.
Sakafet YouTube, and let us make my easy oven roast fish. Hello my loves, today we're making some oven roast fish. I have 2 sea bream that is nicely cleaned, and as you can see I just cut some lines in there to enable the seasonings to go in easily. Over here I have some fresh seasonings that I found in my fridge. You can use whichever one you prefer, and now we're working on our marinade, okay? So now I'm going in with some salt, some garlic powder, some smoked paprika, some mixed herbs. We're gonna add in some black pepper as well, some green seasoning. This is not homemade. This one was the Barron's Food brand. And then I also add in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? You want to ensure that you mix it well. And guys, halfway through, I realized that I didn't add some of my favorite seafood and fish seasoning from Aldi. So I just put in a little bit, and this is how the marinade was looking. So using a clean paper towel, I just went ahead and I just patted my fish dry, because you don't want the fish to have any moisture, just because you don't want it to break apart when it's cooking, and you want to create a nice base for seasoning, okay? So I'm just brushing in the marinade into all the slits, making sure to put some on the insides of the fish as well. And guys, I actually saw someone cutting the fish like this. I've never cut my fish like this. I usually probably put about 2 slits in there, but I find it looks so pretty when it has all the little cuts on there. And just ensure the insides and all over the fish is nicely seasoned, okay? Here I have my okra, peppers, I have some onions, and I'm just gonna mix it up because we're sort of gonna make a nice little bed of vegetables for the fish, okay? So if you don't have all of what I'm using, just use what you have on hand, because sometimes you find what you have on hand tends to work even better than when you follow the recipe to a T, okay? After mixing up all of my vegetables, I'm using this baking dish, and I'm just gonna transfer them into that baking dish. Guys, it looks so beautiful, so colorful. I love all the colors, and just knowing that these vegetables are gonna get roasted beneath the fish and all that flavor. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So I went in and I drizzled a little bit of olive oil, and I went in with some fish and seafood seasoning, because guys, you can use this for a lot of things. I love that seafood and fish seasoning. If you haven't gotten it from Aldi, trust me, you really need to have it in your cupboard, okay? So now that everything is nicely combined, it's time for our fish. Look at how nicely seasoned that is. Oh my goodness. And guys, you don't have to use sea bream, use red snapper, use whatever fish you prefer. I didn't have any other options. I just had sea bream only at my local Tesco, so this is why I'm using this. But definitely my go-to is always snapper, okay? So into my oven we go. I'm going to be baking this for about 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm actually gonna leave it uncovered, okay, because I want it to roast nicely. And after about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to come back and check on it just to show you how it's looking. It's looking amazing, but it's not fully cooked as yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use some of the extra marinade that we have in our bowl, and we're going to brush it on the top of this fish because you want to keep it nice and juicy. You don't want the fish to dry out or burn or anything like that. So make sure you use up that marinade, okay? And as you can see, my vegetables at the bottom, they're looking beautiful. They're looking nicely roasted underneath, and this fish just needs about 10 more minutes and it will be all done, okay? So as you can see, looking absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. After about 10 minutes, bringing my total cook time to about 30 minutes, I'm just garnishing my fully cooked fish with some fresh dill. And guys, this is ready to serve.
Life is what you make it. Whatever you got, don't waste it. Live, live, live. You can make it.
Hi, I'm Sweet Tea and welcome to This Is Momo. Hi Momo.
Hi,
How are you
Sweetie.
doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Back in the 80s, you joined a band, Chosen Few. What was it like?
For me, it was a dream come true. After knocking around all these years, traveling abroad and doing my own thing. And when I came back to the UK, a friend came and says, there's a band, a group, the Chosen Few, who's looking for a new member. And I think you're just the person. You know, that was a dream come true for me. And being with the Chosen Few took me into a different experience. When we did shows, the crowd was just fantastic, especially when, you know, they respond to every single song that you sang. And that was something else. For me, that was new because I'd never experienced being on stage before in that way, where the audience actually knew the songs. You were actually performing and they were able to sing along with you.
Yes.
For me, that was what they call a change in my life.
Especially, you're a big girl now.
Especially you're a big
Oh,
girl now.
That
You know,
was a tune.
yes,
Still
because,
is.
you know, I was not on the original Chosen Few, You're a Big Girl Now, because I joined the group much later. But being able to sing that song with the guys on stage
Yes.
and be a part of that group was just out of this world. I would do it again if it ever came around.
So Mo, after 10 years, you had a career move. Was it to be a house husband?
Oh no, no, absolutely not. After 10 years with the Chosen Few, 10 beautiful, wonderful years, I wanted something new. So I decided to go into television. And television for me was great satisfaction also. You might wonder, why did I come from being a singer musician to be into television? Well, that was because I felt that black people in the UK needed something. We weren't being represented well on television, so we started a TV station, a community TV station called BVTV. It was on cable. You know, we got a license And the first company that we joined to broadcast was a company called Videotron. And they were actually based in the south of London, which was Lewisham. And I can remember the first interview we went to with Videotron. They said to us they were planning a multicultural channel, and they needed a black company to represent the black people in the country. And, of course, we were about, even when I was a chosen few, we were about doing production stuff, recording concerts and stuff like this. So, even though I spent 10 years with chosen few, I was still doing productions because, I spent some time in Italy before I joined the chosen few, and I had my broadcasting studies there in Italy. So, I was sort of up on television and so on. So I took the jump to it, and we decided to do it. And we started off doing a Saturday and Sunday. Okay. It was only 1 hour per day. Right. 1 hour on a Saturday and 1 on a Sunday.
1 hour.
Yes, and to our surprise, that 1 hour, that 2 hours per week worked. Yeah. And from then on, the people wanted more. Videotron decided to give us some more hours, and we just kept on. It wasn't easy, it was hard work, but we knew that the people wanted something.
Yes, our community does need a station like that. However, you are back in the music business.
Yes, I'm back in the music business, and after I've been out of the music business for was over 20 years. Let me tell you how I managed to come back into it.
Okay.
One afternoon, I was with my producer, Linda Lewis, and he said to me, can you pick up Count Prince Miller at the station? I said, okay, no problem. Picked him up, brought him back to the studio. And while Count was in the booth singing, Claudette said to me, you see, you should still be doing it. Look, Prince is doing it, you should still be doing it. Now, she's asked me this before, and I've always said no. I didn't want to. For what reason, I don't know. But at the times, I didn't feel like I wanted to sing again.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe it was because it was near to Christmas. And I thought about it. I went away from the studio, and I said to her, you know what, maybe you're right. So I called Lindell, and I said, Lindell, I'm coming back. He says, coming back where? He thought I was saying coming back to the studio.
Okay.
I said, no, I'm coming back. I'm going to sing again. And I know the track to do because it's coming up to Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So I told him I wanted to do Driving Home for Christmas. Yes. Because that was a song that over the years, every Christmas, I hear this song. Yes. And I remember the very first time I heard it, I thought, wow, this is a nice song. And being a reggae singer, or a singer that sings reggae, I could hear that reggae drop already in it. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to do that. And Lyndall agreed, and we did it, got it out just in time for Christmas. Driving Home for Christmas. So that is how I managed to come back into the music business. And then after that, as you know, Sweet Tea, I followed that one up with Me and Mrs. Jones.
Oh, yes.
Why did I do Me and Mrs. Jones? Because I remembered back in the 70s, this was obviously before I joined Chosen Few. I was in a nightclub, I was in Italy. I was in a nightclub and I heard the song. I thought, wow, what a beautiful song. And that song had stayed with me for many, many years. So I thought, all right, this is a great song. It's a challenge. I wanted a challenge. And I thought, I'm going to do a reggae version of it.
The Blessed Are the Peacemakers. How did that become?
Blessed Are the Peacemakers. Great song. Written by Osmond Collins. He's a reggae gospel singer. And some friends of mine in Luton was having a concert, a gospel concert. And because they knew I was a singer, they said to me, Momo, we would like to have you on our gospel show. And I says, gospel? And he says, no, I don't do gospel. And I says, yeah, but we would like you on the show. Can't you just learn 2 gospel songs? And I remember Jetstar had sent me an album when we were doing BVTV.
Yes.
And I remember that album, how much I liked it. I found it and I learned 2 of the songs from it. And one of them was Blessed Are the Peacemakers. So I took it to my producer and we decided to change it around a little bit. Mm-hmm. And instead of it being a total, just related to the church, we made it into a peacemakers,
right.
a peacemakers song.
Yes.
Which, photographs and footage of Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King and so forth is on it, And again, it wasn't really something that was supposed to have been a record. It was only supposed to have been just a backing track for the show, just the gospel show. But when people heard it, they said, you should release that. So we decided to go back into the studio and make a proper recording of it.
But even the beat is totally different to Osmond Collins as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally,
that's right.
Totally. It's a beautiful track.
That's right.
Bless you for making it.
Thank you very much. And I also have to thank my producer, Lyndon Lewis, because, without him and his knowledge of music, his ability, the tracks wouldn't turn out that way. So he's my right hand.
God gift.
Yeah, God gift.
From the EP, Blessed Are the Peacemakers, you have a new album. This Is Momo. It's very uplifting. Tell us about it.
The album, This Is Momo, yes. And firstly, thank you for those nice words, very uplifting. Some of the songs on the album was written by myself and colleagues. We decided to try to do something a little bit different from what's been out before.
Yes.
For instance, there is a track on there called Life.
Yes.
Life is what you make it, whatever you got, don't waste it.
True.
Now, that song was written by Christine Lewin, myself, and a fellow by the name of Francois Coffey back in the 80s.
Okay.
And we decided that we're going to do a version of it, bring it back, change it up a little bit from how we originally did it, and to suit what's going on today. And we're quite pleased with the way it turns out. And, we hope that when the public hears it for the first time, they will feel what we're feeling. There's other tracks like Feeling So Good. That's the very first track, track 1. Written by myself and Tony Green, who is the guitarist on all of the tracks. He plays on every single song except one, Driving Home for Christmas. From Blessed Are the Peacemakers, me and Mrs. Jones, Driving Home for Christmas, it was easy for me to make that decision that an album would be the next bet to take my career, my new career, by myself, without my colleagues, the chosen few and so on, to see if, at my age, I can move forward.
Yeah.
Because, it's never easy when you reach a certain age, because you're competing against a lot of people younger than you. No, sweetie, I have to be honest with myself, I'm no spring chicken.
But you've got your own audience.
Yes, I have my own audience. And my audience, are they the download audience? Because this music business is now, it's all about downloading.
Yeah.
But because I love music so much, I've decided that if I can make some people happy and satisfy myself as well, Why not?
You have.
I want to tell you about one particular track that we did, and we actually went to Jamaica, and we done a video of this particular track using a Jamaican couple doing a starring role in the video. And this track is called Now and Forever.
The luxuries of life, never a time for doubts. We had a way of life. You were the queen, I was the king. Two hearts ruled as one. Now they say they've lost their crown. The day the sun sits above the blue skies, a cloud appears, forming a reflection of you. You were my life, I was your man. Two people in
Your face tells me it's time to leave.
The album is beautiful, it's uplifting, and it's a must. Momo, I wish you all the best in the album.
Thank you, sweetie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Momo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Life is what you make it.